Welcome to the video on how I help men prevent divorce, part 11, creating calm, masculine presence through a breakup, separation, your wife asking for space, or possibility of divorce. Okay, so this video is extremely important to understand and apply in your situation. So today we're talking about calm, masculine presence, something most men completely overlook during reconciliation. Most men think saving their marriage is about saying the perfect words, having the perfect conversation, explaining themselves better, but your wife experiences your energy before she processes your words. Every form of communication, 90% of your communication is non-verbal. It's the energy you bring behind the words. Okay, it's your tone, it's your body language, it's your energy that has the message hit correctly or has the message or communication hit incorrectly. Okay, so when a man feels emotionally chaotic internally, that energy will enter every single interaction. That anxious energy, that reactive energy, that pressured energy, emotionally dependent energy. It's the opposite to what we need to do. The calm, masculine presence is the opposite. Okay, it is grounded, it's emotionally steady, it's emotionally safe energy. You have to build your frame to bring across this energy with your wife. Okay, so as the masculine, you must change the environment through your behavior and not let the environment change you. Okay, the masculine leads through the environment he creates. This is so important. During a crisis of your marriage, the environment is tense, it's negative, it's going to suffocate you if you let it. So you need to lead through this environment. You need to, acknowledge the environment's there, but you need to start penetrating the environment and change it towards the reconciliation or the outcome that you want. Okay, so why does this matter? When a woman no longer emotionally relaxes around her husband, attraction and emotional openness slowly disappears. Not because she necessarily stopped loving him, but because the relationship stopped feeling emotionally calming. So many women in marriage crisis feel emotionally exhausted. This is really the key as to why she's checking out of the marriage, because emotionally she's not getting her needs met. And she's been trying to meet them over and over and over again for a long period of time, months and years sometimes even. So she becomes emotionally exhausted. So she feels the tension constantly. And eventually, that emotional distance that you give her will become relief. She will either create the distance or the space, or you can give it to her. Your best bet, your best option where you are currently, if your wife has said she wants space, separation, or divorce, you have to give her that space. And this is why, the calm masculine presence matters so much, because when you do reconnect, when you do share the same environment, when you do have interactions, are they positive or are they negative? Is your presence confirming her decision to end the relationship, end the marriage, or is your presence making her question her decision? So the key here is that if you're in control of your emotions, if you're in control of the emotional environment that you're bringing into interactions with her, all right, your goal is to lower tension. It's to create safety. And this results in calming her nervous system. And your presence begins to change the relationship dynamics. This is the key. Once you get this, you know, dynamic set in stone, and you're being consistent with it, and it's the foundation of the reconciliation process, everything starts falling in line. But you need to create emotional safety first. Does your presence create calm for her, or does it create chaos for her internally? Okay, that's what we need to fix. So what do we need to stop doing to get that outcome? Stop bringing your emotions into interactions. Stop reacting impulsively. Stop over explaining yourself constantly. Stop emotionally gripping tighter every time you feel uncertain. The masculine has to be comfortable in the uncomfortable. That's one of the core tenets of being a man. You have to be uncomfortable in the you have to be comfortable in the uncomfortable. Okay? Stop making your anxiety, okay, your wife's emotional responsibility. Stop trying to get her to reduce your anxiety regarding the situation. That is not going to happen. She's emotionally checked out. All you're doing is applying more pressure, which leads to her moving further away. Now, most guys unknowingly create more negative emotional tension simply through the energy they're bringing into the conversations, through this neediness, through this fear, through this reassurance seeking, through this seeking validation about where the relationship is at, where the marriage is at, what's she thinking, what's she doing, trying to control the uncontrollables. All that's going to do is one thing for her. It's going to start really draining her emotionally even further. What you want to do is you want to start building her up emotionally, create an environment of safety, of steadiness, of easiness, of lightness, okay? Not the opposite. So when she feels responsible for your emotions and she feels like she has to manage them, she will find an exit every single time. How do we implement this and start changing this dynamic? So before interactions, before you know you're going to see her, before you know you're going to talk to her, you need to start slowing yourself down emotionally. Control your tone, control your breathing, become more present during the conversations. Learn how to stay emotionally grounded during discomfort. And this is all done prior to these interactions because you need to do the work on your paradigms, the way you interpret things. You need to shift from an outcome focus towards a process driven focus. You need to learn the skills of communication. You need to train your nervous system through discipline, through structure, through physical training and emotional awareness. Okay, that's it. You need to train your nervous system to not be reactive and start learning to respond. And in my program, the Married Ambition program, we learn this through a process called OPDA, which stands for Observe, Process, Decide, and Act. This is the number one foundational skill to not being reactive in your relationship with your wife. So most importantly here, okay, this is how we implement this. Stop trying to force emotional movement with every single interaction. Stop approaching things from an outcome that you want. You have to seek to understand. You have to make her feel safe. You have to make her feel that you understand the problems. And then you need to give her space to process things. Whilst you're giving her that space, you're diligently working on yourself and your emotions and the way you show up in the relationship. So your goal here is not emotional intensity. Your goal is emotional steadiness. Emotional steadiness, calm, safe environment emotionally for her to fall into. Okay, so calm masculine presence creates emotional safety. Emotional safety, when re-established back into the relationship, allows reconnection to become possible. So here's the key points in the recap of this video. People feel your emotional energy before they process your words. Okay, anxiety, pressure, and reactivity create emotional tension. And for her, in the situation you're in, a divorce crisis, a separation crisis, where she said she wants space, I love you, but I'm not in love with you, all those things, she's already experienced a lot of emotional pain to get to that point. So if you then come back to her when she states these, states that she wants space, states that she wants separation, when you then go and react emotionally, you're doing one thing: you're pushing her further away. The key is to show strength, to show strong strength in masculinity, and this can really start changing the dynamic of the relationship because you're operating from a frame of groundedness, of emotional steadiness, and she will feel that, and she feels that safety. And if you can do that consistently, she starts connecting with you more, provided that you're consistent with allowing the emotional safety to build in the relationship. So again, the calm masculine presence that every man should be bringing into his marriage That's what creates emotional safety, and it lowers stress for her and obviously yourself. So emotional safety, okay, is essential for reconciliation. And the reason why it's essential is because she will not open up unless she feels emotionally safe to do so. Okay. Self regulation. This is what you've got to do. You've got to become emotionally self sufficient. We do this through discipline. We do this through structure. We do this through awareness of our triggers. We do this through the deeper work in the program. Okay. And we have to ground ourselves consistently on a daily basis where we create that groove in our nervous system and we start naturally showing up with a calmer presence. Reconnection grows when you stop forcing outcomes. Stop trying to force the outcomes that you want. Okay, you need to give her the space, create a different environment when you're around her, and start really working on the problems in the marriage by yourself and break the negative patterns. Okay, you need to remain consistent and steady here and process driven instead of outcome driven. Okay, emotional safety comes from your emotional steadiness. You must lead the relationship emotionally, not with emotional intensity, with calm, steady emotions. Okay? Your masculine presence is determined by your ability to be comfortable in the uncomfortable. And there's not much more that's uncomfortable than facing a possible divorce or separation. So you're going to be tested here. You're going to really be tested on your strength as a man. So see it as a test from her. Because if you continue, or, if you beg, plead, break down, and really just fall into her frame even further, it's going to be even more difficult to really turn this situation around. You need to show strength, and you need to start changing the environment through your ability to control your emotions and bring the masculinity back into the relationship.